all can attest to the fact that nothing in this world comes by chance. That in this world, nothing goes for nothing. Then there was the need for him to take his time to give us a better explanation on how we can also grab our portion of this prosperity that we are looking forward to. He needed to take his time to go step by step to teach us our do's and don'ts. What we need to do in order to be able to claim our portion of this year's prosperity. So Stephen Adumichedia, the voice of God, today continuing with the explanation that he has been given on the sermon, the gateway to the year of prosperity. According to Stephen Adumichedia, the voice of God, he said, prosperity, a prophecy is a promise which needs to be fulfilled. A prophecy is a promise which needs to be fulfilled. But how can this come true? How can a prophecy be fulfilled? Before a prophecy can come true in our lives, we need to work towards it. There is something that we need to do. We need to work towards it in order to be able to get our portion or for the prophecy to be fulfilled. Stephen Adumichedia gave his life experience as a personal example, as an example. According to Stephen Adumichedia, in the year 1984 to 1988, he had a prophecy concerning himself. He said he saw a lighted tall candle which was up to the skies. And everybody on the surface of this earth was looking at such a candle. The candle, they were all looking at the candle. Stephen Adumichedia, the voice of God, after having this prophecy, chose to work towards this prophecy. He worked, he consecrated himself, listened to the words of the Lord and obeyed. And today we can all attest to the fact that on this planet on which we find ourselves, on this planet Earth, everybody, no matter the corner where the person is, even though he is Stephen Adumichedia, his educational background is low, even though he even speaks in a local dialect, people across the world, on every place, in every place, on every continent, listens to Stephen Adumichedia, the voice of God. This is a fulfillment of a prophecy. But before then, he worked towards the fulfillment of this prophecy. According to Stephen Adumichedia, so he asked this question: what if he had sat aloof? What if he had gone about chasing women? What if he had gone about drinking? What if he had gone about doing all sorts of unworldly things? Would this prophecy have been fulfilled? This is a mega multi-million question. Would he had seen today the fulfillment of this prophecy? No, it wouldn't have come to pass. So Stephen Adumichedia asks us to note something over here, that we have heard that this year 2025 is a year of prosperity. But in like manner, we are supposed to be ready to work towards it. We are supposed to get ready to work towards the fulfillment of this prophecy in order for the prophecy to come to pass in our lives. He also went on to give the example of his own wife, Nana Hema the first. He said before they got married, he told this woman, then the young lady, he told her that any woman who gets married to me, there is the prophecy that that woman will be crowned a queen. Lo and behold, God being so good, they got married. Nana Hema being submissive to the husband. Nana Hema listening and obeying the commands of his husband, being submissive and being obedient to the husband. Today we can all attest to the fact that she has been crowned a queen in the Philadelphia nation. Her submissiveness, her willingness to work towards that prophecy had made the prophecy come to pass today. So today, Stephen Adumichedia, the voice of God, is advising that once there has been a prophecy, then we need to be ready to also work towards the attainment of that prophecy. We need to be ready to work towards the attainment of that prophecy. So Stephen Adumichedia advised that we have to take note of something over here, that the fulfillment of a prophecy doesn't matter. It doesn't care about your educational status. It doesn't concern the amount of cash you have in the bank. It doesn't concern your status in life, and it doesn't concern your age. The fulfillment of a prophecy in one's life concerns the work that you put into the attainment of the prophecy. So the fulfillment of a prophecy, I repeat, matters about how willing you or how ready you are to work towards the achievement or the attainment of that prophecy. So Stephen Adumichedia asks us to know that thing. And he said, if what he's saying is not true, then Mary wouldn't have also qualified to be the mother of the Messiah. Why? Because Mary in those days was a virgin. And how could a virgin conceive without seeing a man? So the attainment of a prophecy is only based on the work that you put into it. Your readiness to work towards the attainment of the prophecy. So Stephen Adonchedia asks us to keep this in our minds, that we are to be ready to work towards the attainment of the prophecies. And here Stephen Adonchedia, even though he has prophesied, or the prophecy came through him, he said he is waiting, he is anxiously working towards the attainment of his. How much more we who just listen, we should be more than ready to work towards the attainment of this prophecy. We have a work to do. And he advised over here that God for us all. That God for us all, but everybody for himself. We are to know that everybody for himself, God for us all. And we are to also keep in our minds that the sources of your own endeavor lies in your hands. The sources of your own endeavor lies in your hands. So Stephen Adonchedia continued to tell us about prosperity in this nation. That in this nation, we seem to have 2 or 3 ways through which one can get prosperous on this land. To be prosperous on this land, there seem to be just 2 or 3 ways. And Stephen Adonchedia explained this by saying, 1, the first one is getting affiliated to a political party. So when your political party is in power, that is your chance. And the second is by traveling outside. According to Stephen Adonchedia, with those who are able to stay in the country and are able to make it, there are a lot of question marks around them. There are a lot of speculations around them. There are a lot of questions, suspicions around them. That people will begin to say, no, this is not by chance. It's not by chance. It's either you went for a ritual money, or, and more especially when they begin to experience death in your family, then they say, hey, it's true, we said it, that your prosperity wasn't genuine. So men in this nation, men on this land, have a different perception about people who become prosperous on this land. If you also belong to a political party, or you affiliate yourself with a political party, and as such you have a political appointment, hey, there's another problem over there. They begin to say you are either stealing, you are either siphoning, you are either changing figures, or you are involved in corruption and bribery. So there are a whole lot of hula balloons around prosperity on this land. There are a whole lot of hula balloons around prosperity on this land. And because of this, Ghanaians, according to Stephen Adonchedia, the voice of God, Ghanaians have developed an evil mindset about prosperity. Those who can't stay choose to travel. Those who can't go through the hardship or the naysayers choose to travel outside. The only means, the only type of prosperity which they seem to have a good saying about it is when you travel outside and you come back with a lot of cash. That is the only thing that they find difficulty in finding fault with it. But as long as you are able to make it on this land, you will be tagged as having gone for a ritual money. Having gone for a ritual money. So Stephen Adonchedia, the voice of God, asks us to note something over here. That true prosperity comes through prophecy, because it's that's the only thing being given by God. But he said true prosperity, the genuine form of prosperity, only comes through God, through a prophecy. That is the only means where you can get a true prosperity. And when we talk about true prosperity, as been explained by Stephen Adonchedia, the voice of God, we will get there. He said that the prosperity on this land is only attained through hard work, and the result of our hard work is death. We work so hard, and in the end we wouldn't be even able to chop the own ends, the own yields from our own hard work. We end up with sickness or death. So Stephen Adonchedia explained that the prosperity that we attain on this land, that the prosperity that we work so hard to attain, is short term. When your government, if you affiliated yourself with a political party, when your government is not in power, you are coming back into poverty. If you were getting a lot of cash whilst you were working in a field, when you come on pension, it becomes a different story. So the prosperity that we have been struggling to seek for on this land, they are all short-term prosperity. But the true prosperity is the one which comes with a prophecy which comes from God, which comes from heaven. So Stephen described the prosperity that we have been experiencing on this land as the golden chance raffle. That is that of the try your luck. It is just seasonal. When the season is over, you go back to your hardship. When the season is over, the prosperity seems not to be found again. Then you go through your poverty. So the prosperity that we've been experiencing on this land, according to Stephen is not the genuine form of prosperity, but the genuine form of prosperity is the one which comes from heaven, the one which comes with a prophecy. And if this prophecy, we work towards that prophecy, then surely we will get the genuine form of prosperity. And according to Stephen the voice of God, his type of the prosperity that he's talking about is the one which comes from heaven. It's not short term. It's not short term. So he likened his type of prosperity that he was talking about, the prosperity that he has talked about in his prophecy. He likened that to a plant planted by the riverside. No matter the season, no matter the time, no matter the era, this plant will continue to flourish. This plant will continue to yield because it has been planted by the riverside. That is the type of prosperity that Stephen the voice of God, have asked us to look forward to. That's the type of prosperity that Stephen the voice of God, have asked us to prepare ourselves to work towards. And that is the type of prosperity which comes from heaven. According to Stephen the voice of God, all his gains today, all that we see him enjoying today, came out of prophecies. So out of prophecies, good things and lasting things emanate. He gave the example. Let's look at his prayer materials. No matter where you are, no matter the season, no matter where you find yourself on the surface of this earth, his prayer material works. But what about that of the other men of God? It only works in their presence. And when you are out of their presence, it seems not to work again. But because he came out of a prophecy, it works no matter where you are. Let's talk about his sermons, his prayers, the old sermons, old prayers. They continue to save people, they continue to heal people, and they continue to bring redemption to people. This is a lasting something because it came out of a prophecy and he worked towards that prophecy. So Stephen the voice of God, asks us to know something over here, that all our ways to prosperity ends up in poverty. They are just short term. So we should be ready to embrace the prosperity which is coming out of a prophecy which is from the heaven, which is from God himself. This is a lasting prosperity. So Stephen advised us that he gave a strong advice over here, that we seem to be going through problems. We seem to be facing hardship, whether in the field of our childbirth, whether in the field of prosperity, whether in the field of our health, whether in diverse fields. We seem to be facing problems here and there. We try to find solutions to these problems, and most of us, we end up in vain. Our efforts end up in vain. Stephen asked me to tell you that that's such a problem that you might be facing, with such a problem that you might be going through. All that you need to know is to take note of such a problem which you seem not to know the cause, you seem not to know the root, what really caused it, is causative, and you don't know, and you seem not to be able to do anything about it. With such problems, Stephen the voice of God today asks us to take note of such problems. We have to take note of such problems. Some people have the problem of prosperity, some in the area of marriage, problems everywhere, and such problems that we seem not to be able to do anything about, such the problems that we seem not to know its root cause. Stephen asks us to take a very good note of those problems. And these problems normally end up in naysayings. They come up with naysayings. For instance, because of you working so hard and not being able to become prosperous, it will end up with a man of God telling you that you in your family is a family covenant, and that in your family they have changed, your ancestors have changed your prosperity for childbirth, because some time past your people were having problems with childbirth. These problems come up with or they result in naysayings. Stephen Adonijah asks us today that with such problems in our lives, we have to take very good note of such problems. Some go about with naysayings, such as you have an inscription on your face, you have the inscription for sale on your face, a whole lot of naysayings about our problems, about our wealth, our prosperity. There are a whole lot of naysayings about them. Stephen Adonijah today is asking us to take note of such problems, and he went on to tell us about what we need to do. According to Stephen Adonijah, the voice of God, what he said was that we are to make sure we do away with all the naysaying surrounding such problems in our lives, such predicaments in our lives, all the naysayings that people have been saying, your so-called pastors, men of God have been saying about such problems. We are to do away with all these naysayings. And the second one is that we are to accept and acknowledge that you do not know the cause or the root, the exact place from where this problem emanated. You should be ready to accept that you do not know. You should be ready to acknowledge that you have no idea about the cause, the source of this problem. So first one is we should do away with the naysayings, and the second, we should be ready to accept that we do not have an idea about the source or the cause of this problem. Stephen Adonijah continued to tell us that what we need to do afterwards. What we need to do afterwards is that what we initially were doing was that in order to be able to identify such problems are those that we've gone to other people, other places seeking for remedies, but we couldn't get answers to them. And whenever you go from one point to the other, you seem to be getting different answers for these problems. For instance, if it's a sickness, you go to this laboratory, what they will tell you, the results will be different from the results from a different doctor or a different laboratory. Such problems, Stephen Adonijah, the voice of God, asks us to take note of them, do away with the naysaying surrounding them, and also be ready to accept that we don't know the source of these problems. From here, he asks us to open our Bibles to John chapter 9 verse 1 onwards, and I take it from the Bible. John chapter 9 verse 1. As he went along, he saw a man blind from birth. According to Stephen Adonijah, the voice of God, he said Jesus was walking about and he saw a man blind from birth. How do we see a blind man? A blind man is somebody who knows nothing about his environment. He knows nothing about whatever is going on around him. He has no idea, and no idea even about the source of his problem. He has no idea about whatever he's going through. He has no idea about his surroundings, nor how he came by his blindness. So such is the position that Stephen Adonijah is advising that we should put ourselves. Stephen Adonijah is saying that we are blind. We are blind. Why are we blind? Because we seem not to be able to pinpoint the exact cause of our problem. And as such, you will be blaming. So should a blind man stand and somebody should hit him from the right, the person will just be trying to assume whoever's hit him, whether it's a male or a female. He can't exactly give the exact description of the person who hit him or her. So such a person is unable to tell the exact cause of the problem he is going through. And such, according to Stephen Adonijah, is our position. That we are blind. We don't know the cause of our predicaments. We don't know what really brought them about. But from this blind man, his was from birth. And most of us, with the problem that we are going through, we came to meet them on this earth. You came into this world. There is nobody in your family who has been prosperous, who has ever even bought a bicycle. We know these things, and they have naysaying surrounding these things in the family. Most of us, childbearing is a problem in your family. Most of us, being able to marry is a problem in our families. According to Stephen Adonijah, this is the exact state of the blind man. So we cannot be moved out of this situation. We are in the same shoes with the blind man. And what happened again? His disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sent this man or his parents that he was born blind? And such, according to Stephen Adonijah, is the exact experience that we are going through on earth. We seem not to be able to pinpoint the exact cause of our problem. Somebody will tell you it's from your father's family. Somebody will tell you it's from your maternal side. Somebody will tell you it's from your own doings. A whole lot of hula balloons. According to Stephen Admitted, we are to do away with all these hula balloons. We are to do away with all these naysayings. And what else? May we continue to the verse 3. Rabbi, in the verse 2, the disciples asked. His disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? And in the verse 3, neither this man nor his parents sinned. Said Jesus, but this happened so that the work of God might be displayed in him. Beloved partakers of the heavenly calling, today Stephen Admitted is advising us. We being in the exact position of the blind man, we being in the exact shoes of the blind man, we do not know the cause of our predicament. We do not know the exact place or whoever is orchestrating things against us. We do not know. We are like the blind man. We can't tell our right from our left. We do not know the cause of anything. We do not know whether it's from our mother's side or our father's side or by our own doing. We don't know. But just as Jesus said, we should know that there are plans of God in our lives. There are plans of God for our lives. You might not even know that the predicament you are going through is a plan by God to reveal himself, to manifest his glory. According to the voice of God, he said God has plans for every generation. In every generation, God has plans to be able to manifest his power, for people to feel his presence, that he is still the God of old and he is the God of now. So your predicament might be a plan of God, so that he will show himself so strong in your way for those around you to see that yes, he is still the God that we serve. He is still the God of old and he is still the God of now. So beloved partakers of the heavenly calling, Stephen Admitted, the voice of God, is advising us today that we have to do away with all the naysaying surrounding our predicaments, and 2, we are to make sure that we do not blame anything for our predicament. We are to be naive of our predicament and see to it that they are just plans of God to make us better. They are in the plan of God. It is by God that he will use us as vessels to manifest his glory, for everybody to see that he is still the God of today, he is still the God of old, and he will still be the God of tomorrow. Until we meet again next week, it's bye-bye for now. But the word of advice is, let's make sure to debunk all the naysaying assertions on our predicaments, and let's look up to God, just as Stephen Admitted said. Adumo Adum Arakwa. Bye-bye.